And we're live. Welcome, you beautiful bastards, to my so-called show. And I am joined here with the Lord of Toxicity. How you doing, man?
If I was doing any better, I couldn't live with myself. We are living in an age of amazing things today. I love it.
Yes, and despite this world of amazing mediocrity, this show was actually a big surprise. I was not expecting
Shocking,
any. I know I was not expecting anything from this show. I thought the Batman was
nor
a
was I.
fan film, but
Yep.
not my favorite Batman film. I think Batman Begins kind of did the origin a bit better, but
Mm.
I am so far. I did like this episode, and I was a bit disappointed that it's going to be a weekly thing because I want to watch the next episode now.
Right.
I really do.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I wanted to ask you specifically about that, but since you
Mm.
already touched on it, what's Dark Hour, Stupenzo, Blue Collar, we've all had this conversation with each other. So I guess I don't know your thoughts, but maybe I do now.
Yeah.
So are you a one or two episode at a time, weekly type of guy, or are you binge it all at once and just cram it all in your mouth type of guy?
I am not a big binger. It's only very rarely do I actually try to binge a show in one day. But most of the time, it's just if I get a bit of time, a few episodes, because
Hmm.
something to have on in the background while I'm trying to get some work done. So it
Sure.
depends on the show, really.
Yeah. Well,
Really
there's some
does.
shows you can do that, but some shows you cannot.
Yep, and yeah, I forgot to I forgot to make this public, but so I've got a few people unlisted here. So damn, that's my fault. But never mind anyway. So
Hey, Nix, how are you, buddy?
I know I'm glad you got on anyway. Is there a way I can maybe edit to get this public now? Let's have a look.
I don't know.
Unlisted, get on public, and
Well, anyway, for the
yeah, we're
uninitiated,
public now. Mm.
so we're talking about obviously Penguin, HBO Max, or the Max, depending on where you're at. TV series based on the events that follow the Batman series, and its main protagonist is Colin Farrell playing the Penguin, aka uh, what is it? What do they call him instead of Cobblepot? What do they call him?
Yeah, I think it is just called Oswald Cobblepot. So yeah, it's set after the events of the Batman. People are still recovering from what's happening. The mobsters are kind of fault. Business is going bad for the mobsters because Batman's kind of fucked everything up. The Riddler's fucked everything up, and it's looking like they may have to shut down business. And Oswald is not happy about that. And
Mm,
Wes he has to deal with the fact that he's killed Carmine Falcone's son, who was supposed to be the heir to the throne, but he's a junky
mm,
asshole who got too big for his fucking boots.
big time.
Yep, and now Oswald is trying to find a way to take over. He reached out to his rival Sal Maroni, but Sal Maroni has told him to go fuck himself. And one of the kids, yeah, played by
Nice.
Clancy Brown. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Smooth.
also the fact one of the kids that he bumps into trying to carjack him while he was disposing of Alberto is kind of becoming like this little protege of his as well.
Yes.
And we will get to him as well. So yeah. I mean, because I was gonna do like a proper video review on this, but I thought, nah, just do a quick little stream, get a
Yeah.
few little thoughts out, and have a couple of good lads to talk about. And yeah, Nick's nice to join you as well. A bit down the weather, but happy to catch you, gents. Like, yeah, so it's a pleasure to have you as well, Nick. And yeah, it's still saying it's unlisted. I don't know if it might have changed it, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, so first thoughts when you caught this, then
Well, I wasn't gonna watch it actually. It was basically Lance and Outcast Creative and Enzo that kind of changed my mind, and then some of the people that kind of run in our circles have been, creaming their jeans over it. So yes,
yeah,
Nick, you're right. It's Oz Cobb, not Oswald Cobblepot. Okay, cool. Um, you are correct. Sorry about that. But yeah, some of the people that are just in our YouTube stream have been praising it, and I thought, well, okay, I do have this on my Plex Pass, so let me just key it up. And I watched it, I think, night before last after I got done with that stream with Lance, and it turned out to be quite good. I was extremely happy. I didn't. I will tell you right this. I did not care for the Batman, the Pattinson Batman. I don't like him as
Yeah,
Batman, and I didn't care for the movie too much. Colin Farrell was one of the few things that I did in fact like.
yeah, because you forget it's him as well. You really do think this is a very old sort of maybe Irish Italian guy, mobster
Mm,
type of guy. He's really convincing, and you do forget it's him because he's really got that mobster voice going on.
yeah.
Like like a cross between Jabber and fucking Marlon Brando.
Well,
It's
I don't know if you ever watched it, but they did a season 2 and 3 and 4, unfortunately, of True Detective, and he was one of the showrunners in season 2, and his voice is extremely similar to that character that he did there. That kind of gravely, I've drank too much, maybe smoked too much, lived too much, done too much voice. That world weary thing. This is kind of what I conceived of his character from True Detective season 2 would have turned into in like 40 years. You know
yeah,
what I
because
mean?
when you hear him in his last film, the Banshees of Inisherin, he's like, well, he likes me before. It's like he's kind of got this whiny voice, but
Yeah,
it,
Colin Farrell's actual voice is I do not prefer that, and I hate to
yeah,
shit
yeah.
on I hate to shit on my heritage because I'm Irish, but I don't I'm not a huge fan of always having to I go down there and I'll get me a piece of arse. Oh well, to be sure, that's fine. I don't
Well,
care
yeah,
for
he's
that.
really fucking Irish. A lot of
He's Irish as fuck.
he is, man. He is. It's. But I get what
Sorry,
you mean
Colin.
about the.
We like you, Colin Farrell. We're not shitting on you or your accent, and we love Irish people. The Lord of Toxicity is extremely Irish, but sorry, we
Yeah,
like you, but
yeah. When I first became aware of Colin Farrell, I did not know he was Irish because I'd seen him
neither did
in
I.
Daredevil and Phone Booth, and then I learned he was on an old Irish TV show that my mum used to watch called Ballykiss Angel, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" I mean, I hated
Okay.
that show, but my mum loved it.
See, I was introduced to him via I just gotten out of boot camp, and this movie about boot camp in Vietnam called Tigerland had come out, and he
I've
was
heard
the
of that. I've not watched it yet.
oh
I've
man,
not
guy,
watched.
it's
I
so
need to
good,
watch
brother.
it though.
It is so good. It is so good.
But I get what you mean about the Batman. I mean, I like some of it. I like the noir detective aspect of it, and the action's pretty good. But it goes too real on the Batman. Like when Batman deploys his cape and glides through the sky, he looks like a flying squirrel and not a bat. He has to look like a bat. That's the whole point of his character. He uses
Agreed.
theatricality to strike fear into his enemies.
Agreed.
It's I know, and that's why I like Batman. Batman Begins a bit better because it sort of balanced the realism with the comic book exaggerations, and
Mhm.
you need that. But I do
I
still want to see the second one when it comes out. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
still
yeah. No, I'll
curious
watch
to
it.
me.
I'll watch
Yeah.
it, but it's funny. It's funny that in that movie about Batman, I like all the other. I like Alfred. I like Catwoman. I like the
Mm.
Penguin. I liked the guy that played Falcone. I liked all of those people, and I don't, I didn't like Batman in that movie. So, I don't know what to tell you about that. I can't, I can't say it any other better way than that. But I don't know.
Yeah. Did you prefer him to Christian Bale when it came to the Batman voice, though?
Uh, The
It's
voice,
fucking
yeah,
hard one.
yeah, the voice I did, yes. I did per
He, yeah, because he didn't look like he was trying too hard to do the voice, while Christian Bale was like, "Where are they?"
where are they? Yeah, that's so oh my god, it's so
Yeah,
crazy. But
I think Christopher Nolan actually amplified the voice or fucked around with it in post production. I don't know if that's true or if he did. He should not have fucking done that because Christian Bale already has a cool fucking voice. You don't need to fuck around with it.
it's funny because when it first came out, I didn't have a problem with it, but it was one of those things that it was one of those things that I later was like, ugh, this is no, I'm not digging this.
I
I'm
know
not digging
because he does play the part a bit more faithful to the comics than Michael Keaton did, and and Michael Keaton somehow is still the better Batman in my opinion.
this.
Live action wise, anyway. Live action wise, I should
I
say.
don't I don't agree there. I don't agree.
Yeah.
Batfleck is the best Batman. because he's not only the greatest Batman, his physicality, but he's also the best Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah,
Because you have
I do actually understand that. I just wish his fucking scripts were better. That way, I could really say he was the best live action Batman.
sure,
So yeah, DC really fucked him over. It's such a shame as well because he does look the part. He fucking fights the part. He's actually very intimidating in what really is a goofy costume when you think about it. But he looks the fucking boss in it. He really does.
yeah. And I always remember. See, now I didn't see Bat. I don't want to get off on a tangent. We are talking about the Penguin, but really
Mhm.
quickly, the Batman versus Superman movie. I didn't. I had to leave. I had some work thing or something on it, so I left the theater and got a movie pass, never to return. And the next thing that I saw was the director's cut that they release on streaming. So I've never seen the theatrical cut, so I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, avoid
So
it. Avoid it like the
yeah.
fucking plague. The director's cut.
So
It still has its problems, but it's still better. But yeah,
miles
moving on to
better.
the
Yeah.
Penguin. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
move on to a Penguin. And
Yeah.
I know it's still early to say we're on the first episode, but it's looking like it's shaping up to be very well. I mean, even though Colin Farrell didn't have much to work with in the first one, he was pretty good in it, but here he actually does feel like a fully fledged character. You actually get he's actually very sympathetic, even though he's a bit of a two-faced arsehole as well, who's kind of been jumping
Yeah.
from side to side over the years, and he's willing to
But
lie with anyone.
he's two
Yeah,
faced to the kind of he's two faced to the kind of people that, no pun intended, he's two faced to the kind of people that you don't really give a shit about anyway.
I
You
know.
know, it's not like he's betraying some great people. He's betraying these other scumbags and
Yeah,
stuff.
and they don't care about him either. They think he's a fucking joke. He's just a lower rung fucking foot soldier, and that's it. He's kind of just this guy's been playing it safe, but now it looks like he's about to lose everything, and he's trying to keep it as much as possible but the guys in charge, they're willing to just fucking destroy everything that he's been working so hard to do. So fuck it, I'm going to take over then. If no one else is going to help me with my business, I may as well help myself.
Right. Well, that's what helps make him sympathetic, because
Exactly.
we look at him as the underdog. We look at him as he's the working class. Shout out to blue collar. He's the blue collar guy that we kind of all are, and these other elite. He's the good fellow where the other guys are Godfather Mafia, and
Yeah, it's
they
okay
kind of
because
go ahead.
yeah, because it's like in Goodfellas, they weren't exactly full on members because they had like Irish blood in them, didn't they? So, but there were still like big players in their own way, wasn't they? But he is not a big player. He's like I said, he's been playing it safe for too long, and now it's looking like the chickens are coming home to roost. So it's up to him to finally step up for once, and he is actually very smart. He's actually very cunning, and he's probably more cunning than he thought he was, more than the guys ever thought he was.
I really like how they did it, a kind of day in the life of the Penguin. We pick up right
Mm.
after the disaster happened in the first movie, and he's sort of, he's like, okay, well, what stuff can I grab from the boss's office that's gonna give me maybe a little bit of a leg up? He grabs,
Oh yeah, he's getting like fucking blackmail material.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
even willing to fucking pillage his boss's jewels. And if it wasn't for Alberto showing up, he'd be out of there straight away with a
yeah.
nice little fortune in his
Let
hand.
me ask you this: was Alberto in the movie? Because I don't remember him in the movie.
I don't remember him being in the movie, and maybe there was a walk on part, but I've only seen that movie once, and I've been
Yeah,
willing to
same.
try and watch it again to sort of see if I've.
I might, yeah. And what's your thoughts on I've heard it said a lot of people, by more than a few people on both Open Bar and a few of our other sister streams, that they'd be perfectly happy with no Batman ever showing up in this. Are you feel the same?
I kind of would, right? And it's kind of weird having a Batman universe without Batman, but
Yeah.
I'm just so much more invested in the Penguin now. I kind of want to see him win, even though he's a bit of a scumbag. But
Yeah.
that's good writing and a good actor
Yeah.
that's giving this character layers. I mean, I even like his fucking mum. She was like telling him not to fucking run away like a pussy and actually be a fucking man
Yeah.
and take charge. I mean,
I
that's
was
yeah.
I was really worried it was going to be the trope, like Gross Point Blank, with the crazy mom, and she's just a
Mm.
burden and she accidentally causes some shit. But it's quite the reverse. He's looking to cut and run, and she's like, no, stand and fight. I did
Yeah.
not see that coming at all. She's like,
I
you're
was
my
almost expecting a Tony Soprano type mum, like he
yeah,
gives her everything, and she's
yeah,
like, "Nobody cares about me,
right. I
yo."
thought she was going to be a burden, but instead she was, and in a way she is a burden for sure. But
Yeah,
instead
she's not
she winds
taking her
up,
medication like she's supposed to, and it's and he's worried about her. But yeah, she's all right. She's kind of fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to see more of her as well. She looks like she could be the heart and soul of the whole thing. The one to help Penguin get up whenever he starts to feel like he's about to give up. Maybe, who knows?
yeah. So are we? It's your show, so are we allowed to say spoilers, or are we going to keep it as bland as possible?
We'll try and keep it as bland and possible for now, and yeah, just for now anyway. And
Okay.
it's still pretty new, isn't it? But the other
Well,
characters, don't know what did you think of Sophia? I kind of liked her, to be honest.
um,
She was fucking scary,
yes,
even though she's like,
I love
yeah,
her. She's one of the best villains I've ever seen, female or otherwise. She's just a great villain. You can
yeah. I
always
mean,
tell how good and how crazy your villain's going to be by how they eat at a restaurant. Anytime you
oh
ever
yeah, the
see,
way she just packs it all away. I
yeah,
was laughing. I was laughing my ass
she's
off.
sucking down alcohol, like she's out drinking this guy that's like a good 200 pounds more than her. And yes, I've heard the whole comic book. I'm sure Leon or somebody else, purist comic, is going to say, well, that's not how she looks in the,
Yeah, 'cause
and,
she's pretty big in the fucking comics, isn't she? She's like, she
I don't
looks
know. I've never read that.
in the
Or
Long
if I,
Halloween anyway. She is.
okay. Well, fair enough. I've not read that. I'm not familiar with it. So I'll take everybody's word for it, but I don't care. She's bigger. It's like Tom Cruise playing Jack Reacher. Is that what Jack Reacher's supposed to look like? No, but
Mm.
Tom Cruise is bigger than life, even though he's a little tiny man. And that's her, man. She's bigger than life. Every time she's on screen, she was giving Javier Bardem, Anton Chigurh vibes. Like
Oh yeah,
I'm legit worried for him. Like, and I know it's his show, but I'm like, how
yeah.
is
I
he
mean,
gonna get out of this?
'cause she's fucking smart as well, right? She knows when she knows a bullshitter when she sees one, and she sees right through Oswald already.
Yes,
I
yes.
know, and I love that scene in the restaurant where they're just talking and they don't spell it out. You just know that she knows already.
Yeah, she's a brilliant performance. I have only seen her prior to this in a couple things. I saw her bit parts in Wolf of Wall Street. I know that she is the mother, the actual mother in How I Met Your Mother, but I've never really watched more than an episode or two of that show. So all I know is like TikTok clips. And then, of course, I know her from that brilliant episode of Black Mirror from season 4 with
Yeah,
my counterpart, Meth Damon. And she's in that. She was brilliant in that. So I've not seen her in much. And this is really cool. So I've not been spoiled by her in other performances, but I really, really liked her. And yeah, I do. If you are going to apply the girl boss, I would say, yeah, she's a girl boss, but not in a bad way, in a good way.
I know
She's
because she isn't like physically taking on men twice her size. I mean, she
no,
actually. Yeah, I'm not going to go too much in spoilers, but there is a scene where she does rely the help of a strong, physically tougher guy to
yeah,
help her with a bit of business, and you can just smell fucking crazy on her. And she doesn't look like she's trying too hard as well. She doesn't overplay it. She
no, it's
comes across
very
as some
subdued. Yeah, she's just
yeah. She
got
comes across as a
crazy.
paranoid fucking maniac. She does.
Right. She's got that crazy Italian. I've never had the opportunity or blessing to date an Italian girl, but she has got that crazy Italian girl eyes. Like she just turns it on. And it's like, if your wife is looking at you like that, you are in trouble. You better fix something quickly. So
Yeah,
yeah, she was just I loved every scene that she was in. And legitimately I was legitimately afraid. I know it's episode 1, so there's no way he's gonna die. But man, I was yes, agreed. I just could not. I was like, man, how is he gonna effing get out of this? That is crazy.
I know that's another thing I want to touch on the show because I think we are going to see a lot of mind games with him, sort of like trying to manipulate people from both sides. Like divide and conquer, let them all collide with each other, and you step up when and walk over, like reduce them to rubble, and you step over the rubble after. It's for lack of a better term.
Yeah, no, I like it.
And that's one thing that I am really looking forward to, because he does look like he's got a plan, and he's sort of working his way to try and figure out what that is.
What did you
And
think of
not only
the?
that, he's now got his own little protege as well, which
Yeah,
I will touch on soon. But it is I really like the fact that it's just staying true to the gritty realism, and everything does look like it's like it looks. Everything looks like it's 50 years out of date. Like all the
yeah,
streets, everything, and I love it. And you just can't help but get sucked into that murky fucking world
yeah.
that everyone is involved in.
Well, that's what I didn't like about the Nolan Batman trilogy. They had it just was a slick, glossy New York. Whereas, you know, Batman, one thing that Tim Burton definitely got correct was what Gotham City's supposed to look like. You
Yeah,
know, that
I want to see more Gotham City looking like that. I mean, the more realistic one, I'm all right here with a Penguin, but if it's a Batman film, it's got to have a bit of a Burton-esque kind of gothic sort of run-down, gritty look to it.
I thought the TV show Gotham did okay. They were limited. Um, well, hello, Cassidy, Princess of Toxicity.
Yeah, how you doing? And hello, Jammer. How you doing as well? God, you could
But
join us.
it wouldn't feel right if it was in that kind of, because he just wouldn't fit in that world. It's already he's the outsider in the world that he's in. So yeah, it's and I really like this. Now I hope they do change the structure of the narrative a little bit. Again, I'm trying to be careful what I
Mm.
say until you say spoilers are okay, or maybe you won't in this whole video. I'm not sure what you're going to tell me to do, but I do like the whole day in the life aspect of how Penguin goes about what he does. We get to follow him around on this journey, and some stuff we see spelled out for us really, you know, clearly. Like, let me make sure that I've got the body taken care of, and let me make sure that I've got my alibi straightened out,
Mm.
and let me make sure I do this and I do that. So all of that stuff is, let me take care of my freaking messed up foot. But it's one of those things where you are invested because it is a day in the life. I don't want to see that narrative throughout the entirety of the series, though. You know what I mean? I don't want to see
Yeah,
each day like a 24 episode, because by the end of this story, when they're looking at him and the other person are looking at the sunrise, I was like exhausted. I was like, okay, I've been on this journey with you, but that just goes to show you how invested I was with
yeah,
it. So
yeah. I hope it is. I hope it's just a sort of like a way just for us to get to know him a little bit more before the story really kicks in. And but like I said, it does sort of get you to sympathise with him as well, because because him being having this fucked up foot as well, that sort of makes him a bit more vulnerable as well. They see him as this
yes,
sort of like this little fucking old fat cripple who's, yeah, he's just a fucking low rung soldier. He's kind of like Al Pacino and Donnie Brasco. He's just this broken down old man
yeah, good,
who's never
yes, good
really risen to the
comparison.
top when he should.
Yeah, good comparison. Good comparison. I like that. Someone
Mm.
who's got a lot of street smarts, a lot of cunning, but has only risen to a certain amount of level because of well, maybe because of his deformities, because of the way that he looks, because of his upbringing. They only let you go so far in that world. It's almost like old crime family, things like that is almost as close as you're going to get to like the royal family. You either are born into it, good looking, rich, and if you're not, they only let you get so far.
That's true. And we'll move on to his protege, Victor, played by, let's get the name up then. It's a very funny name. Renz Freezy, is it called? Let's have a look.
That's his character
Uh,
name, or that's his real name?
the character's name is called Victor. Just trying to get the name. Yeah, Renzi Feliz, if I'm pronouncing that name right. Fucking hell,
Oh
actors'
boy.
names are weird these days. They are. But
Uh,
he's okay. He's okay at the moment. I don't think we've
yeah,
finally got
he's
to know him
fine.
so much. He's just, yeah, he's got a bit of a naivety to him, and but I do think the Penguin opened up to him a little too quickly. Like even when he had him helping him dispose of the body, he should have still been a bit skeptical and maybe, maybe still be willing to kill him. But then after a while, he decides to take him on, still reluctant. And then when it gets to close to the end of the episode, which I won't give away, that's when the Penguin decides, you know what, I made the right choice not fucking killing him, and that's it. And that's when you start to see, they're going to develop this great relationship later, hopefully. But who knows? This is Gotham. I think things are going to go bad for them too as well later. You watch.
I don't know, man. I mean, I agree with the second part of what you said, but I'm not sure I agree with the first part. And as far as complaints about this show, that's really been the only consistent complaint I've heard from anybody is that, he's just gets this one random kid of color and he's just grooming him for the life of crime and he's sort of a DEI insert or yada yada yada. I don't know. I don't read it that way. I read it quite the opposite. I read it as he's been put in a bad spot, and I don't think that the Penguin knows who he can trust in his own organization right
Yeah.
now. So I think that
it's kind of like his because I know he basically did spare him when he caught him carjacking because he thought, all right, I'm going to need a second guy for this fucking job anyway. So
yeah.
This bastard will have to do.
Well, without spoiling too much, you do realize that shortly thereafter he had every intention of getting rid of. He even says his line that he says is like it's not smart of me to leave. The smart play here is to make sure there's no witnesses.
Yeah.
So, and I hope I haven't spoiled too much by saying that, but I don't think I don't know, man. I just don't. I think that he just saw it as an opportunity. This version of the Penguin seems to me to be the kind of guy that kind of thinks on his feet. He doesn't have these long. Well, in fact, I mean, I know that's true because the whole motivation of this episode and the whole reason he has a problem is because he didn't think before he acted. He acted before he thought. So he has to kind of do things on the fly, kind of slapdash, if you will. See what I did there? And it's one of those things that I feel like that's very organic that he would have just grabbed some street kid and said, "Hey, help me out. Let me see what you got." I mean, I think if the kid had caused a serious problem for him or been in some way deficient, I think probably I think he might have xed him out. But I think it's the fact that the kid did show some good what's the word, ambition. He showed some ambition with what he was doing and some smarts. I think I think he saw a little bit of himself. And again, like I say, and I agree with the critical drinker, I think that Penguin doesn't know who he can trust at this juncture. It's really easy for somebody to roll on him to curry favor with the mafia. So
Yeah.
it would be a thing where he might pull in an outside talent and do something like that. Just take an opportunity where he can get it. So I could see that. And maybe somebody did the same for him when he was a kid. I think he sort of alludes to that. So I'm
Yeah,
not,
that's
and
what I
I
got
thought the
later.
kid,
I did
yeah,
come to that later. I just thought it was rushed a little bit. That's all. I think it should have been. They should have slowly developed that aspect a bit more. But that's my only complaint, and it doesn't really ruin the episode because
no.
it does look like he has some good chemistry with this kid as well in the scene. So yeah, it doesn't. Like I said, it's more of a nitpick more than ever.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
But there is a thing that comes across at the end, which I think is going to play into their relationship a bit more and cause trouble. I won't spoil it though, but it's near the end, and you probably know what I mean.
I do.
Yeah, but I do want to see that happen as well because we have to see consequences after this episode because more shit's going to happen. We're probably going to get introduced to other characters as well, like more of the other guys that told Penguin to shut down his operation, even though he wasn't happy about it. And yeah, he's going to have a lot of people on his ass during these next few episodes. I think it's going to be 8 episodes or 10 episodes, so every Sunday. So.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So yeah, it's like I said, we're nearly at the 30-minute mark, so we'll probably end it on final thoughts. So yeah, final thoughts, Toxic.
Final thoughts. I am 100% invested in the show. I myself, the question I asked at the beginning, I do prefer to be able to stream and watch as many episodes as I want. And I don't like waiting week to week because I feel like that lends itself to that's what tricked me with the 4th season of True Detective. is because I gave it. I'm like, oh, this is a good episode. This one's not so good, and then I wind up watching the whole thing. So I don't really trust. I want to be able to pick and choose when I want to watch it. So I don't like that. But other than that, I don't have any real complaints. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm excited to talk about it with you.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. Yeah, and final thoughts. It's a great start. We got to know the characters. We're starting to see a little bit of what the premise is going to be, and I'm really interested to see the mind games that are going to be played. These I have a film we're going to have a shitload of meetings with a lot of words are said, but at the same time they're meaning other things. Hiding these characters' true motives or what they're planning to do. Kind of like Game of Thrones with the mafia, like maybe Game of Thrones mixed with Sopranos and Goodfellas. Which I'm kind of looking forward to. And yeah, let's just really hope it doesn't turn into a big pile of fucking shit halfway through. I really hope it doesn't.
Well, if they stay along this trajectory, I think it'll be fine. But again, I'm still a little gun shy, HBO, because you made me think that True Detective season 4 was going to be good, and you tricked me, and I don't like that. Also, Colin Farrell, I'm still mad at you over Sugar. So, I'm not getting over that anytime soon. So I don't like. I hope this is not something I invest. But I will tell you, I'll pull the plug on this in a moment's notice if it starts getting silly but I don't think it will. I think this might be pretty good investment. And no, I for the question that you asked before, I don't care to see the Batman in this. I'm fine with it being the way that it is.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I mean, I do hope the Batman 2 ends up being good because I do want to see this world sort of develop a bit more. But for now, I'm okay with just the Penguin and all the other characters that are involved in this. I don't need to see Jim Gordon or anything like that. Just Penguin, all the other fucking mobster scumbags that he's taking on, and maybe a little bit of Clancy Brown as well because you can't go wrong with that dude. You just can't.
You're not going wrong with Clancy Brown, no, and I don't think you're going wrong with Colin Farrell or Christine Milioti. As long as the script's good.
I know, man. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I will end this right there, and I'll probably try and do this again next Sunday if I can.
Okay.
Even though this is like Thursday, because I caught it late. That's the thing. But yeah, this
Yeah.
Sunday I'll try and catch it a bit more fresh in my mind. And yeah, thanks for joining me once again, Toxic, and thanks for joining me, Nick
Yeah.
and Jammer Llama, you beautiful bastard. And yeah, right now that's me done, and I'm off to the pub. Enjoy your night.